Humboldt, we have Hunyum caramels, and they set us up with a nice bag of Hunyum caramels. And from Trinity County, you may have either received a gingerbread felt scent diffuser, so it's like a little felt gingerbread man and some scent that you can put on it, or something called alpaca poo tea. I don't recommend you drink it. It is not for you. I mean, I suppose you can. I don't think you'll like it. But your plants are going to love it. So I hear that it's supposed to be incredibly good. If you're into house plants, they're going to be very happy when you return home. Also, we have information and fun gifts from our sponsors, so please enjoy those bags. As I hinted before, we have a really full agenda. In every conference I've ever had, every conference I've ever gone to, the feedback is always, leave more time for networking. And so we did the opposite. And I'll tell you why. There's so much good content. So this is what we're going to ask you to do. We're going to give you all the great content you can possibly stand. But there are going to be some things that are less interesting or more interesting. So if there's an opportunity that you have to talk to somebody you really wanted to network with, something that maybe isn't, top of mind to you, you can go out to the lobby, you can go take a walk. We're not taking attendance. We are going to let you be adults, and this is a Choose Your Own Adventure conference. So attend as much as you can. I think it's going to be great. But also, do what you need to do to make the most of this conference and this time together. So that is your permission, and also my apology. Every year we think we're going to put in more networking time, but you made the trip, so we also want to make sure we give you all the content you possibly can. We are waiting for our first speaker, but while we are, I wanted to make a comment about Nicole saying she has lived in 4 of the 5 counties in this area. My boss, Ross Welch, who is here somewhere. Raise your hand, Ross. Oh, he's networking. See? He got the heads up. He's lived in 4 of the 5 counties. So I'm just going to ask, who here has lived in more than 2 counties in our region? Humboldt, Del Norte, Mendocino. Right on, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right? Yesterday at the CERC conference, I think Greg was the one who was saying that regions, they have these imaginary lines, but most things don't pay attention to them, right? Animals don't pay attention to them. Forest fires don't pay attention to them. The weather doesn't, storms. This is a region, and so the more we can act like a region, the better off we are all going to be. And for those of you who have lived in multiple counties, you understand that we're facing a lot of the same issues. We have a lot of the same struggles. And alone, our voice is very, very small. But together, we have a larger voice. And I think it's some of that regional work that has really helped to attract the attention of a lot of state folks. So if you are involved at a state level and you're here, raise your hand. So we have quite a few people who have made the trip here to Lake County from Sacramento, from other parts of the state, because they recognize that the regional work that we're doing is really important. And I will tell you, when we first started this conference, we didn't have their eye. So keep working together, and we will continue to see all of these things grow. We have 5 minutes before Senator McGuire is supposed to be here. I'm going to give you guys 5 minutes to chat. Look, it's your networking time. And then when he gets here, I will come back up and I'll do an introduction. So meet the person behind you. You're probably sitting next to somebody you know, so turn around and talk to the person behind you. Maybe you don't know them. All right, everybody. We have our next speaker here. I'm very excited to announce him. So I am very happy to introduce our next speaker, and welcome back Senator Pro Tem McGuire, who has come up, who has been at most of our conferences. We always bring him in at the beginning because we like to start off with a little energy. And this is the man with energy to spare. I know people call him the Energizer Bunny, but I will say I received a phone call from him at 2 in the morning one day after an earthquake, and he was as awake as I was. So the man never stops, and we're so glad to have him. Senator Pro Tem McGuire.
I'm very grateful to be here. Good morning. How the heck is everybody doing? I think we need to give it up for Lakeport, everybody. Come on now. So excited to be here. My goodness. To Mayor Costa and the entire council, thank you so much for hosting us in this beautiful city. We are so excited to be with you. And if you have not checked out the new park, it is one of the best in the entire West. It's really exciting. I think we also need to take a moment to say thank you to Susan Seaman, who is our fearless leader. Let's thank her for all of her incredible work. Thank you so much. We'll always call her Madam Mayor, as the former mayor of the great city of Eureka. So very grateful for her work. And to each and every one of you, the leaders here in Northern California, I'm so excited to be able to join you here today. And look, I'm going to give a quick update about what's going on across the state of California. But most important, I want to have a conversation with each and every one of you, hearing about your concerns, any comments, questions, and we are going to be taking criticisms today as well. So watch out. And I know this is not a shy group. My goodness, watch out. But if it's all right with folks, we'd like to talk a little bit about the California economy, where we're heading in Northern California in particular, and some really large projects that are going to be coming up here in our region. Is that okay with everybody? All right, so let's get started. Again, super excited to be with each and every one of you. And I think especially in these politically turbulent times, it's really important to focus on what I think that we can all agree upon. And that's why I'm so excited about this convening today. No matter what your political stripes may be, I think that we can all agree we need a thriving economy in rural California that works for everyone. Am I right, ladies and gentlemen? I think everyone should be able to afford to live in the community they call home, and want to say thank you to the leaders who are here, have been working so hard on workforce affordable housing. I think we can all agree that we want to send our kids to the best schools in the state, and we have some of the best schools in the state within this four-county region. I want to say thank you for your incredible work. And I think the other piece is healthcare. We all want to have quality healthcare, good jobs, housing, quality healthcare, and good public schools. And I think that's something that we can all agree upon. Am I right, ladies and gentlemen? When it comes to how we get things done here in Northern California, a lot of times it's we get up by the bootstraps, and I have to say that we are literally the ones that made up the do-it-yourself, right? Whether you live behind the Redwood curtain or right here in Lake County, it is critically important that we all are working together. And that is why I'm so grateful to be able to work with you in the state Senate. So let's take a look about what's happening across the state of California right now. So California, we're the 5th largest economy in the world. On average, we're gaining about 16,500 jobs per month. I will tell you, we are starting to see a slowdown here in California and throughout the West. We are starting to see a slowing in the economy, not just here in California, but throughout the West and throughout the United States. That said, California is still the #1 economy in the United States of America, by far. In fact, ladies and gentlemen, California's economy is 60% larger than the next state. The next state is Texas. Our GDP, our total economy, is worth about $4.1 trillion in California. That's larger than the smallest 25 states combined. We're 14% of the United States of America's total economy. We are the #1 manufacturing state in the United States of America, the #1 state for technology in the United States of America, #1 agricultural state in the United States of America, #1 for new business starts for women, #1 for new business starts for minority business owners, #1 for new business starts, period. We had more venture capital in California this past year than every other of the 49 states combined. And we're the #1 state for green energy jobs. We've grown our economy in the last decade by 80% and cut our greenhouse gas emissions by 20%. 92% of all Californians now have access to health care, and it's about damn time. I hope that you are in taxes than when we receive back to the federal government. 80 billion. So I want to be clear. Do we have issues that we have to work on? You're darn right we do. But also, if you take a look at cable news, we are not going to fall in the Pacific. California continues to be the strongest state in the United States of America, and candidly, America's economic engine. So here's the piece. We have to be able to protect it. We're then the most diverse state in the United States of America, and that is our strength. And we have to protect our people and our progress and the policies that make this state great. One of the other pieces is tourism. Last year, tourism, $157 billion in visitor spending, a record amount. This year, we're concerned. We're down about 30%. The trade war with Canada and Mexico has really hurt us, especially here in Northern California. Canadian travel's down by 30%. They took all California wine off of Canadian liquor shelves. That's a $1.2 billion hit to California's wine industry alone. $1.2 billion in this ridiculous trade war with one of the greatest allies that this world has ever seen, and that is between the United States and Canada. Doesn't need to happen like this. And it's impacting agricultural impacts at imports and exports at a record clip. Almonds are currently wasting away in warehouses across this state. Our soybean crop is collapsing in California as well. And it's because of the tariff war that we're currently seeing. And I'm just going to be blunt, that is going to be a concern leading into our economy in 2026, being the largest agricultural economy in America. A couple other pieces, some bright spots that we're seeing, expanded airline service out of Humboldt County, which is flipping amazing. Bring on Breeze Airways in Las Vegas, everybody. My goodness. Which is very exciting. And then, of course, flights into Seattle as well. And I just want to say thank you so much to Greg and the entire team who've been working so incredibly hard to be able to keep airline service in and out of Humboldt. And, of course, we got airline service in Del Norte County as well. So let's take a look about some potential threats that's coming up. So the biggest threats that we see next year, we are going to continue to see probably a flat, down 30% tourism economy here in California if we cannot resolve this trade war with our allies. The other big challenge that we're going to see next year, I want to be very clear, and this is not political, these are just numbers. Healthcare is a really big threat for this state. So we anticipate two things. Number one, the premium increases that will go into effect if there can't be a deal with this shutdown. Individuals will start seeing their covered California premiums going up between 25 and 300% as of January 1. 25 to 300%. So what does that mean? A lot of folks are going to start disenrolling because they simply cannot afford health care. So let's take another step. We have built an entire rural healthcare delivery system off of insured individuals. It is going to impact the Adventist Healths of the world, our FQHCs, our rural health centers, because we've built this entire healthcare system here in America based off of individuals that walk into a health center that have insurance. It costs taxpayers 3 times more for an individual who comes into a health center without health insurance versus an individual who has health insurance. It's a game changer. And so not only are we going to see folks who are going to be struggling because they don't have health care based off of these premium increases, we're going to start seeing, we anticipate 50 rural hospitals and health centers close by the end of 2027. And the reason we anticipate that is not just these premium increases that can be fixed if a deal is struck at the federal government, but they've already taken action on reducing health care insurance via Medicaid. So that's what we call right here in California as covered California. So let's talk about that. We anticipate about a $5 to $8 billion annual hit to our state budget based off of federal dollars no longer flowing in. We anticipate 1 million kids will lose their health care insurance starting in 2027, 1.5 million seniors, and about 100,000, 109,000 veterans. That has already been done. That was in H.R. 1, the big, beautiful bill. So we got two issues with health care. One, the premiums that could be resolved, and the second is we are very nervous about the fragile rural healthcare system in this state based off of the action that was already taken. The other piece is SNAP. Can we talk about SNAP for a second? And I don't mean to depress folks because we're going to end on a good note. But I also want to make sure that we're being super honest because it's going to hit our communities hardest. So SNAP, what we call CalFresh, is federal food assistance. Right now, based off of the federal shutdown, folks are not seeing their CalFresh cards reloaded. It will take about 10 days once the shutdown is over for CalFresh cards to be reloaded, and they will get all, CalFresh recipients will receive all of their benefits backdated. I want to be very clear about that. But it'll take 10 days from the time the shutdown is over. I want to fast forward to next year, though. SNAP has been demolished. So also in H.R. 1, what was called the Big Beautiful Bill, they've eliminated about $127 billion worth of food assistance over the next 10 years across the country. So what does that mean for California? About $3 billion a year. And when I say 1 million kids, 1.5 million seniors, 109,000 veterans, that decision's already been made. So what does that impact? Kids going hungry. Seniors making a decision on paying for their prescriptions or getting food. And it also has a major impact for rural grocery stores, convenience stores, and restaurants who accept EBT. So I want to make sure that we are all in the loop, and this could change, but we are preparing for the worst based off of the healthcare cuts that have already been made at the federal level. So let's talk about some bright points. Number one, here in California, we just passed the biggest affordability bill in our state's history. $60 billion in energy savings is coming to your electric bills, and it's about damn time. PG&E provided the first rate decrease that they've had in 7 years, 2.5% this year, but you're going to see additional rate decreases in the PG&E territory over the coming decade. In addition, the $60 billion is coming from our cap and trade program. So $60 billion in rate decreases across the state for utility bills each and every year for the next 10 years. We have just doubled the renter's tax credit as well across this state. We have doubled the first-time home buyers program. We'd love to be able to work with you as government leaders and nonprofit leaders and private industry leaders on how we can get these dollars here in Lake and Mendocino, as well as Del Norte and Humboldt counties. So if you'd be willing, Rhiannon is here. She's going to raise her hand real quick. If you have a card, we'd love to work with you to get these dollars into your hands, into the cities as well. The other piece is we now, 50% of all college students who go to a CSU and UC are going tuition free. If you belong to a federally recognized Native American tribe, your sons, daughters, grandkids will be guaranteed enrollment into any UC here in the state of California, which is absolutely critical as well. And some good news also with public schools. Despite the challenges, we're seeing record funding for public schools here in the state of California. I'm a big believer that the best investment that we can make is in our kids and strong public schools. And I want to recognize Brock Falkenberg, who is here, the Lake County Superintendent, and say thank you for all of your work, Mr. Superintendent. It's good to see you. Universal school meals is law of the land here in California. Every student who goes to a K-12 public school gets guaranteed breakfast and lunch, and it's about damn time. Kids cannot learn when they're learning on an empty stomach. We also have implemented a summer program as well, which we would love to be able to work with you if your district has not implemented, so that we can get kids food in the summertime when our school meal program is on hiatus. 10,000 new mental health counselors are currently being hired in schools across this state. $1.5 billion in after-school programming and tutoring has been implemented in California as well. And finally, universal TK. It is the best thing that we have done in decades, is expand TK to every school across the state. And I want to take a moment to say thank you to Superintendent Falkenberg and all the other superintendents and school board members who have been working so hard on this. I think we need to give them a round of applause, along with teachers as well. Before Mayor Seaman starts throwing her shoe at me, I'm going to do a rocket round of other issues. Is that all right, everybody? All right, so we're going to talk fire, everybody. Let's talk fire. So look, there is no other county in the state of California that's been impacted by wildfire more than Lake County. Over 60% of its landmass has burned since the Valley Fire. It has been devastating. And this state has to move with speed to be able to help control large mega fires. So here's what we've done. Over the last 7 years, we've doubled the number of CAL FIRE firefighters across the state, going from 6,700 CAL FIRE firefighters, easy for me to say, just 8 years ago, to 13,000 today. We're going to hire another 2,400 over the next 36 months. We have more engines on the road, a record number of aircraft up in the sky. In fact, we have phased out all of our Vietnam-era Black Hawk helicopters. We now have night fighting Black Hawks that are even here in Lake County up at the Boggs Station, and it's about damn time. We're phasing out the 3,000 seasonal firefighters because of CAL FIRE, because what we know is fire season is 365 days a year here in California. Am I right? And so the first 700 seasonal firefighters are being phased out, and they will be phased in to full-time status, which again is about dang time. We've invested $4 billion over the last 5 years in wildfire prevention projects, and we'd love to be able to work with you. How many city council members do we have here today? City council members, we have board of super. Hey, what's going on, sir? Nice to see you. We want to get money into your city's hands. If you'd be willing to work with us, we'd like to get these CAL FIRE grants into your hands to help make your communities more wildfire safe through Prop 4 that was just passed by California voters. The last thing I just want to be able to talk about is homelessness. I want to say thank you to the mayors and council members, members of the Board of Supervisors. I see Supervisor Paiska here today as well. Supervisor Batier, I think I just saw. Thank you for your work on this. Let's talk about what we're doing on homelessness. In Mendocino County, $25 million since 2021 has been invested from the state. In Lake County, $35 million has been invested from the state into Lake on homelessness. In Humboldt, over $70 million to be able to get permanent housing built. In Del Norte, $24 million, and another large allotment is coming soon. And we want to make it easier for you to develop. So I'd like to end it right here with two final items. What I'm about to say is controversial. What we have also realized is we got to build faster in California, housing and services. So we took action this year to be able to amend the California Environmental Quality Act. And here's what that is going to mean. Any infill housing project, 20 acres or less, does not have to comply with CEQA. Has to be infill within a community. Number two, farm worker housing. If you want to build farm worker housing in or around your communities, no longer has to do an environmental impact report. Wildfire mitigation projects, fuel reduction projects, defensible space, no longer subject to CEQA. That means you get the money, same year you get the project done. It's been taking up to 3 years to get your environmental document completed to get the actual project done and up and running. That is ridiculous. We have now just waived that, no longer subject to CEQA. Daycare centers. We are dramatically short of daycare slots in our communities. Am I right? For new daycare centers, as long as it's not in a residential neighborhood, no longer needs an environmental impact report. Same thing for food banks. Same thing for federally qualified health centers and rural health centers, which is absolutely critical. And it is huge news when it comes to housing and critical services. The last piece I'm just going to mention are some projects that we're ready to move here in the next few years. So let's talk about those quickly. Number one, that will serve all 4 counties. We are expanding mental health beds and addiction beds in our region dramatically. We made this announcement 3 weeks ago. 42-bed facility at Mad River Hospital in Arcata will serve Del Norte, Mendocino, Lake, and Humboldt counties. 42 beds dedicated for mental health crisis and addiction crisis. It is the largest investment in mental health and addiction beds that we've seen in 50 years. Total number of beds that will be expanded in Humboldt will be 101. Those will be up and running, all 101 within the next 3 years. 42 of those will be of regional status. So if you have a friend or a family member, you no longer have to send your son or daughter or family member down to the Bay Area or Southern California for treatment. 2, by the end of 2027, early 2028, the largest healthcare education job hub in Northern California will open up in Humboldt County. It is going to serve 4 counties, Lake, Mendocino, Humboldt, as well as Del Norte County. Here's the deal. It's this amazing partnership with Cal Poly Humboldt and College of the Redwoods. We are going to grow our own healthcare technicians. And we also have expanded the registered nursing program at Cal Poly Humboldt. We are doubling the number of the bachelor's in science in nursing program at Sonoma State University, and we have doubled the LV into RN program up in Crescent City. We have to grow our own healthcare workers and healthcare leaders, and we are investing to do it. No more talk. It's about action. I hope that you're with me, ladies and gentlemen. Let's keep it going. We're going to make a big announcement. We'll be making a big announcement coming up in January about a major investment that's coming to Lake and Mendocino counties for career training. We're super excited about it. More details to come, and it will be a partnership with Mendocino College. We have to get more fire engines into rural California. The first of the 10 new Type 6 quick attack engines for Southern Humboldt, Northern Mendo, will be arriving in December. We are going to have a big announcement about more fire engines coming to Lake County here, also in January. A major new housing project that we're going to be funding here in Lake County is coming in January. We will have a major announcement in December about the Great Redwood Trail. I want to say thank you to the leaders in Arcata and Eureka. 14 miles of contiguous trail along Highway 101 in the Bay Shore is now complete. We will have the next big announcement about the next big section of the Great Redwood Trail coming, but I want to say thank you so much to each and every one of you. Lastly, in Trinity County, Trinity Alps High School will now become a 24/7 emergency evacuation center. That we've now rebuilt that high school and put that all-weather track in, and we're putting in large commercial generators there as well. And we will have an announcement on port rebuild from the tsunami in Del Norte County here in December or January as well. I've talked way too much. I want to say thank you for your incredible work. And if it's all right with the mayor, we're going to open it up for questions and comments from folks here. And go ahead and take it away. And thank you very much for allowing me to be here today. I'm super excited and grateful for this opportunity. So let's have a conversation. Let's go. Concerns, comments, folks that may have. We have one right over here. Thank you so much.
We're going to get started. Can you guys hear me okay with this? All right, there we go. All right, you want to pass this over to Weston?
Thank you so much for being here. My name's Weston Seifert. I just wanted to mention, you mentioned Humboldt's healthcare training facility.
Yes, sir.
And growing their own. Lake County, we are also planning to grow our own healthcare through our Heart Hub. Nicole Flora is our contact on that, and we're moving forward with support from Mendocino, Workforce Alliance of the North Bay, EDC, all of that, and probably 2026-ish, something like that. So we are also, for our region, planning to grow our own healthcare as well.
Would love to talk with you about funding. That would be amazing.
Yes, please.
All right. That's fantastic. So what I'm going to do, if it's all right, Rhiannon is going to give you a card right now, and I'd love to be able to set up a meeting. if that's
Thank
okay
you.
with you. Thank you. I'm going to make a note, and then we're going to follow up. Thank you so much for your leadership on that.
Hi. Hi, Mike there.
Hey,
Hi.
how you doing?
Good. I'm doing good. Thank you so much for being out here. And I just want to say, preface that several people independently dared me to ask this question.
Oh, dear God.
Which I want to say, honestly, I think this is really, I take it as an indication of just how much we have incredibly valued your service to this region and how much we are all deeply invested in you and all the work you've done for us and your continuing career. So, if you don't mind me asking, since you term out next year, when do we get to know what's next?
Holy crap. All right. Thank you for that. I'm just going to be candid, and I start getting emotional talking about it. This has been an honor of a lifetime, being able to work with each and every one of you in the state Senate. And if you take a look at what we've all gone through together, right, with wildfires, earthquakes, pandemic, economic roller coaster, I just want to say thank you for your leadership. And it is the best job in the world to be able to have this amazing relationship with each and every one of you. I want to say thank you. And more to come on that. And I promise you, would love to talk more about that, talking with family and some community leaders and obviously friends about that. And I promise you more to come. And as I said, this is not a shy group. So, but I promise you more to come. And I do want to say, I am so grateful. I am grateful every day to have this job. Thank you for your trust, and thank you for allowing me this opportunity to be able to work with you. I am so incredibly grateful, and I truly believe that there's a lot more to come. Am I right? So there we go. Thank you so much. Thank you. Hey, good morning.
Hi, Senator.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing good. It's so good to see you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your service. Amanda Pisania-Hickey from California Center for Rural Policy in Redwood Region RISE. Can we see the Redwood Region RISE hands again in the room if you've received funding, if you've been involved?
Amazing.
This California Jobs First funding has been such a beautiful opportunity for us to transcend our jurisdictional lines, become better allies and partners to each other, set a vision and a course for the next 10 years for these issues that we care so deeply about: housing, healthcare, tourism, our natural and working lands. We're not sure what comes next, and so my question, Senator, is can we count you as an advocate to institutionalize Regions Up approach to inclusive and sustainable economic development for the state of California moving forward? And thank you.
No, thank you so much. Look, as y'all know, and please push back on me, but it is so impressive, the work, the foundation, and the movement that you have established. And I really do think it's a model for the rest of the nation. I also don't ever want to BS. Absolutely, you can count on me for support. I do want to say we are to be determined on the budget next year with the state. I think it's going to depend on what we see happening. And again, this is not at all trying to be political. I hope you know this. It's just the facts. We are facing $25 billion worth of ongoing funding cuts starting next year, and it will continue to grow over the next 3. The biggest hit will be Medicaid. And we are not going to be able to backfill it all, right? We backfilled the cuts through the end of the year for the SNAP program for food banks, $80 million, but that's $80 million, and I know that's nothing to sneeze at. We're not going to be able to do a $15 billion backfill. That's a long way of me saying I'd love to keep in touch. I'd love to sit down. It is obviously a major priority. Rayanne is going to give you the card. And if it's okay with you, I'd love to talk with you about it and like to keep in touch. And I sincerely want to say, this is amazing. And this is what we need right now. Everyone working together to be able to lift up every community, and your leadership is to be celebrated. And just thank you so much. I'm the one that needs to be thanking each and every one of you. So thank you. Please, hey.
Good morning, Senator
Good morning.
McGuire, Sequoia, Hudson, Humboldt County. Thank you for your leadership and all
Nice
the
to
work
see you.
that you do for the North Coast. I hear a lot about what we need to do for our youth and their education and supporting them and entering the workforce and workforce development. And recently, I came to find out through some efforts to find my own daughter some assistance and some pathways to enter into the workforce. There aren't any programs available for training them, like internships that will help employers be willing to bring them into the workplace and train them and have assistance in paying them. There's one program that it turns out 80% of what they can do is only for children that have dropped out of school or in foster care or are having problems even getting into school, and they can't bring on more than 20% of students that are in school and doing what they're supposed to be doing. Like, there isn't the support to help train them and put them into the workforce and give them some skills that doesn't include going to college. And I would really love to see there be more programs and funding to help kids enter the workforce and help support employers being able to not put the full burden on them and being willing to take the time and put the energy into training them so that it's not all on them. And then when they do train them, they move on to somewhere else and then they have to train someone else. So I just would really love to see there be more support to train youth to get into the workplace.
No, thank you both. I think the internship program, I hear you on, and I'm just taking a note about the lack of capacity, right? There's literally nothing happening, as you just said. And would love to be able to talk with you about, because one of the items that we're really pushing is dual enrollment when it comes to high schools and into community colleges, right? And getting students involved earlier, whether it's a trades program or a straight academic program. I'm gonna give you a card and would love to talk to you more about that if that's okay with you. How old's your daughter? 17. Oh my gosh, watch out. Am I right? All right. Oh, hot day. That's what I'm saying. I only have one, and he's a 4-year-old, and we're already thinking, holy crap. So amazing. Give me the ages of your kids. So you have a 17-year-old.
38, 30, 19, and
Give her a round of applause, please. My goodness. Thank you.
When I first moved to Humboldt County when I was 19, there was a program called the Private Industry Council.
Private industry.
Exactly that, where my employer took me in and he was reimbursed for half of my wages. So he was able to employ me for $15 an hour, and they paid for half of that. So it was only at a $7 cost to him to train me on the job. And then, that timed out, but then I was trained and I had those skills and was able to go on and be a benefit to him because I got the skills. And my accounting knowledge, because that was a bookkeeping position, has just flourished since then. That was really the foundation of where I started and become quite successful in my financial career. And I would really love to see that be available to kids today.
Thank you. And I love hearing how it impacted your life for the positive. Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm very grateful. All right, we have all right, then we have
Hi.
one right up in this. Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
Nice to see you.
My name is Sarah, and I'm with West Business Development Center based in Mendocino County. And when I look at the rural development prosperities in our region, I think we can see really clearly that equity is not a statewide priority, and that you personally have taken hits for trying to drive the equity towards rural areas forward in your service.
Hi, Dan.
Yeah. So my question for you is, as regional visionaries, where are there opportunities for us to change the conversation on the statewide level and prioritize rural prosperity? How can we work with you to do so?
So I'm a big believer of set-asides. So whether it's housing funding, funding from GoBiz, homelessness dollars, wildfire funding, we have embedded in most of those a guaranteed set aside for rural communities that is non-competitive with like an LA or even a suburban county like Kern. So I think number one, we have to force the hand. I'm going to give you my blunt assessment. You have to force the hand and put it into law. So number one, rural set-asides. Number two, under Prop 4, which was the wildfire and clean water drinking bond that California voters passed overwhelmingly by 70%, a third of those dollars must go to disadvantaged communities. And it's now law. The reason being is it benefits our region and the Central Valley. If you take a look at rural California, and I'm going to be give you the last word. Highest rates of unsheltered homelessness, highest ACE in schools, highest unemployment numbers, all per capita in rural California. And what really upsets me is that, and I know it could be a dirty word in some households, I'm a Democrat. And I feel like Democrats have forgotten about rural America and rural California, where the need is greatest. And so, shame on us. I'm the first Senate leader in 140 years to be from a rural part of this state. And it has been my drive and my mission to change the conversation. And so, I feel like we don't get this right, but we have to force set-asides. A set-aside in every ongoing appropriation at the state level that will go to a disadvantaged community or to a rural part of California. Please, don't be
So how specifically can we in this room help with that? How specifically can we in this room help with that? Forcing a conversation.
I think we just need to start, let's sit down and talk about it, right? And we'll start coordinating on what big allocations are coming up. We have it in Prop 4, which is great, right? We have it in CAL FIRE funding now. In fact, we have two set-asides. We have a rural pot, and we also have a pot for Native American governments. For the first time, there's now $20 million ongoing dollars for Native American tribal fire departments and wildfire mitigation. That also helps. So I think what would be really good is that we set up an in-person coffee, do a Zoom, and then we go through the pots that have the set-asides, the pots that don't, and then when it comes to, and it's usually like a 10-year sunset on those, so they sunset in 10 years, and then come back up. We'll give you a list of everything that's still out there, and I'd love to be able to work with you on those that are still out there that don't have the set-aside, if you'd be willing to do that.
Absolutely, and thank you.
I am so grateful for you. Thank you so much. Thank you for allowing me to be here, by the way. Thank you. Let's go down.
Hey, Senator Dwyer, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Great to meet you. My name is Dalton Shepard. I'm a prescribed fire burn boss in North Mendocino County. And you mentioned a lot of additions to suppression forces to CAL FIRE, a little bit about CAL FIRE grants as well. Time and time again from landowners, I hear that CAL FIRE grants are pretty hard to access for individual private landowners. Additionally, they all want to be doing fuel reduction on their lands in California. So my question is, what are you doing to make access to fuel reduction in private lands easier for private landowners?
Thank you for that. So a couple things. So long story short, there are two really big pots, and please correct me if you think I'm wrong here. There are two big pots of wildfire mitigation pots. The ongoing appropriation that we put into CAL FIRE mitigation grants that any public agency or resource conservation district can apply for. So it's from CAL FIRE, and then you also have a second pot from Proposition 4 that was passed last summer. So there are property owners, especially in our neck of the woods, that say, how the hell can I do some prescribed burdens, pushback on me, on my property, right? And some of them are thousands of acres. Here's the issue that we have. We can't give public funds, taxpayer dollars, to a private landowner. It is literally against the law. It's called a gift of public funds. And having to go through it. So the way we work around that is it has to go to a public entity or a resource conservation district. So a local, as you all know, a local fire district, volunteer, or otherwise, can get private property owners all on the same page or neighbors. They apply for the bucks, they get the bucks, and then the funds can be used for prescribed burns and or wildfire mitigation on the property. The hitch in the get along is it has to go to a public agency. And I'm just being honest, and I don't, again, everyone guessed, there's not going to be a way around it to get directly to a private landowner. Please, go ahead.
I don't want a microphone.
You're good. Shout it out.
Yeah, so there is a program that CARB passed called REM, Reduction of Emissions from Magnifier, and that is a program that allows through CEQA, which is getting the field back a little bit, but CEQA is allowing, or it would allow private landowners to do burns, get basically what's called a fire mitigation unit, it's an offset essentially, that then is a CEQA mitigation. And basically that is a way to start channeling funds more directly without having to go through these channels that are a little more tedious for landowners. The problem is that the actual methodologies is stalling with CAR, who's controlling the methodology, and the CARB. So it's a great program, basically, that is kind of stalling out right now. That would help do this a lot. So I just wanted to
I want to get your card, if that's okay. Because on the sequel mitigation piece, you're absolutely right. So for prescribed burns now, it's not subject to sequel. So prescribed burns is no longer subject. The issue that we have, I think, on the air quality side is different regs, regulations in each air district, which is flipping maddening. And so we'd like to talk to you about that. We're still going to have an issue on the dollar side about going into individual landowner pockets, but if it's okay with you, I'd love to just talk directly because it is super important and it's one of the best weapons we have against manufacturer prescribed burns. And I want to say thank you for your work on that as well. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right, please, over here.
Oh. We were thinking you were done.
I'll just speak it out. Okay.
So you talked about.
It will never be done.
Yeah, please. Nice to see you.
I am just curious what we're seeing on the state level regarding any regulation regarding insurance on homeowners. I know we had seen some news coming across saying that January 2026 we're going to start seeing some stipulations on these big box insurance companies that have pulled out of California. First-time home buyers, rates have dropped a bit, which is fantastic. The problem we're dealing with, case in point, I have a young family, he's a firefighter, she works for the Lake Forest School District as a chief accountant. They're buying a $330,000 house at 5.5% interest, but guess what? Their insurance is $600 a month. This is affecting California homeowners who want to buy homes dramatically, and we need to see some clampers, if you want to say, on these insurance companies. Like, it's just a free-for-all with what they're charging. Is there anything you're seeing coming down the pipeline that can help with that initiative?
Shirley, thank you for this. And if you want to, we can walk out and talk as well. I'm going to do a quick version if that's all right with you. So here we go. So bottom line is, about a year and a half ago, Insurance Commissioner Laura struck a deal with the insurance company. In that deal, approximately 75–80% of those who are on the FAIR plan, insurance of last resort, folks who can't get traditional insurance, would need to come off within 3 to 4 years. In return, those insurance companies would be able to increase rates above and beyond the caps that were established in a voter-approved initiative called Prop 103. So, way back when, California voters, rightfully so, passed Proposition 103. It capped home insurance increases. We have some of the lowest home insurance, even with these increases, rates in the nation because of Prop 103. It was good. But now, what these insurance companies are saying is, we can't make profit based off of all the cataclysmic events that we've had. I would say let's call some BS on them, but that's my own personal opinion. So, Insurance Commissioner Lahr strikes this deal, supposed to see folks migrating off the damn FAIR plan into a traditional policy, and guess what? We're now in November 6th of 2025, and it has been a dribble, not the damn rate. So, I'm going to be very blunt with you. I think we need to have the Department of Insurance follow through with what the promise was. And I am very frustrated by it, if I could be so blunt. We had 2 bills this year. We did this whole insurance reform package. One, and I want to talk about Nelsonville River here, and I know I need to finish up very quickly. So, long story short, if a community adopts a home hardening plan, a community hardening plan, yep, insurance companies should write. But they don't.
They don't, though.
But we need a mandate that they do.
Yes.
So we had a bill that would have done that. It got all the way through to the government. It did not make it. The second piece we need is homeowners need to be able to access the risk score on their damn phone. Because insurance companies have a monopoly. They know what the risk score is, they don't release it. And so We have money coming into Cal Poly Humboldt who will develop the state's first public catastrophic modeling program that at any time you can go onto your phone, determine what your risk score is, and figure out how to fix it to make your house more fire safe. This is a long way of me saying is we need mandates through home hardening. That's what we would have done through a home hardening commission. It was modeled after the state of Florida. It was vetoed. We're coming back this coming year and bringing it forward to be able to shove down the gullet. And we have to get this catastrophic modeling done. And the third step is the Department of Insurance has to follow through with the commitment they made to California residents. Full stop. So, walk out. I'm happy to, and I will cuss a little bit with you if that's okay. I apologize because I'm so damn frustrated about this. Kelseyville, Riviera, last thing. Supervisor, what was it, 10 million in grants that came through? 20 million. 20 million in grants for Kelseyville, Riviera. Talking to insurance companies, the entire community here in Lake County, and tree removals, and so much to Supervisor Kaiska. This would not have happened without our leadership, I can be honest. Day down tree removals, brush removal, hardening of gutters, of eaves, of roofs. It is a model community. Private insurance, well, right. And it's BS. The entire community is hardened. That is unacceptable. So I promise you, Shelley, I am fired up on this thing, and I'm beating up on it a little bit, and more to come on this, I promise you. And Madam Mayor, I have gone on way too long. I can feel the steam coming out of my ears from you. So, I just want to say thank you so much. And if anyone wants to continue the conversation, we'll just go right over here. I'm so grateful to be here. Thank you for this amazing opportunity.
Good to see you, Mike. Take care.
Up next is our panel on agritourism. We've got some, oh my gosh, this is like one of my favorite places to go in Lake County. Today we're joined by some inspiring leaders who are helping shape the future of agritourism and recreation in Lake County. As they make their way up to the stage, I'm going to be introducing Caitlin, the facilitator, and then we have a short video that we're going to cue up right after that. Caitlin Anderson is the hospitality manager at Six Sigma Ranch and Winery. She's also going to be the facilitator for this panel. Caitlin moved to Lake County in 2018 and became a wine club member on her very first visit. At the time, she was a full-time school counselor pouring wine on weekends, but learned of the ranch and its people drew her in. What began as a weekend role quickly became a calling. Today she oversees direct-to-consumer sales, tasting room operations, events, and marketing, bringing heart and hospitality to every guest experience. So Melissa, if you want to go ahead and cue up the video while they make their way to the stage.
Today, we are trekking to beautiful Six Sigma Ranch in Lake County, which is about 2 hours away from San Francisco. I've been coming here for years, and I am meeting with my dear friend Kai. He and his family own this working ranch, and he's going to show me around before meeting with some friends who've traveled up from the Bay Area. The 4,300 acres of Six Sigma Ranch was settled in the mid-1800s and has numerous hiking trails, and its stunning vineyards stretch as far as the eye can see.
This is the first vineyard to be planted in 2001. It's called Elsa's Valley Vineyard because it is in Aspik Valley. I named it after my wife, Elsa. It's 100% Cabernet. And then we gradually over the last couple of years we have built a fantastic trail system.
And how does it feel for you to see all of this? When you bought the property, none of this was here. I mean, you rebuilt all of this for your family. So how does that make you feel now?
That's my problem. I'm thinking about what to do next.
That's great. In the fall of 2023, Six Sigma launched with Hotopia's Resort. For years, you could bring your trailer and camp here, and now Hotopia takes you into the world of glamping. You get to check in, and then you're greeted by their thoughtful team. And this is glamping at its finest. Their signature wood and canvas tents have all the luxuries you find at home, like actual power, comfortable beds, private restrooms, and showers, and you have your own kitchen. Here you can sit under the stars, and the magical experience you will have is like no other. Thing is there's so many things they can do all day, right? They can swim, they can play games.
They can swim, they can play games, they can do a tour, hiking, biking.
Wine tasting.
It's just this escape into nature, right? You get away from everything.
Everything. And it's a good compromise between parents and kids as well, because everyone finds, their happiness. They can go wine tasting while the kids look at the animals.
You have taken glamping to another level, but it's just so beautiful. And it's just perfect. Everything you need, as you were saying.
Yes.
Everything you need. Six Sigma Ranch is well known for its hiking and biking trails, and there's so much to see here. What's it like being out here in Six Sigma Ranch, the hiking?
Well, I spend a lot of time out here with friends and the high school team that I coach. They do races out here, and we just come out here to relax too.
Yeah, it's pretty spectacular, huh?
Yeah, it's a special place, and Kai has always made us feel very welcome.
Yeah. Six Sigma's mountain biking scene is incredible. They host annual mountain biking competitions for thousands of people. One of the best things about the ranch are the people you get to spend time with. So you built that structure?
Yeah, so Kai wanted that to be a main part of the ranch, and so we sourced all the lumber locally. It's all come from Diamond Mine, and we put it together, and it's been a fun project. So.
And the woodpecker, wherever that woodpecker is, he's getting busy.
Right there at the peak of the house.
Making holes.
Yeah.
Oh, let's get the shot of the woodpecker. I'm sure city folk, we don't see wood. Have you ever seen a woodpecker?
No, this is the first time. I just told Kai that.
You guys actually touched glasses.
That's like all honey. It's a messy one. The best spot.
My favorite spot is out here. This allows me to do a lot of things that are good for the soul.
That part right there,
We love to have you both.
By applying data-driven principles to grape growing and winemaking, Kai blends science and artistry to produce wines that reflect the land and its story. Next we have Amy Tyner. She founded Jack's Lavender Farm, a nonprofit rooted in sustainability, agriculture, and youth development. Located on 15 acres within Six Sigma Ranch, the farm is a living classroom where local teens build entrepreneurial skills, confidence, and community. Through a partnership with Six Sigma Ranch, Jack's Lavender Farm has provided education and connection, fostering resilience and opportunity for local youth. We also have Kia Pratchner, thank you. I was like, oh, I don't even know. I would do that one away. I'm a passionate advocate for our outdoor recreational and youth empowerment through mountain biking. So Kia's journey with NorCal League was begun in 2014. She was a freshman at Kelseyville High School. She raced for 4 years, graduated in 2017, and returned to support the league's race crew. As of January 2025, she's now full-time with the league, helping student athletes discover the magic of mountain biking, whether they're seasoned riders or just getting started. And each year, NorCal brings about 6,000 guests to the ranch, so it's a pretty big deal when they come out. I want to start off our panel by asking Kai, how How did we get here? How did all of this start?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
So this piece of wire here does actually work? Great. Well, how did it start? Way back, before I even got here, my wife and I have always had a passion for education, kids, making sure that they get a little hand in getting in the right direction. Back in '99, General Electric decided to move me one more time from Kansas City and Connecticut to Connecticut full-time and take over mergers and acquisitions for General Electric globally. And, you know, I was at a stage in my life where I said to the boss, Jack Wells, I really appreciate it, but thank you, no. I think it's about time I do something that I enjoy the work, but I really have some passions in life, and I wanted to pursue that. I got the backing of my wife, and one of the passions is, do you want me to use this one? Does that work? No? Almost. He's on the way back to turn it on. Maybe that helps. So we sat down and debated what we wanted to do. And one of the things that came up was that we had a tremendous passion for land, beautiful land. Spent part of my life in Kansas City. I was on the board of the Nature Conservancy, and we did a lot of conservation easements on prairie grass. 2/3 of the prairie grass left in this country is in the state of Kansas. And when you drive from Kansas City to Denver, Colorado, you can see this beautiful land. And on some of the big ranches, we put a lot of buffaloes on. So that was one of the projects back then. It had to do with passion for the land. The other thing is that, as you can tell from my accent, I wasn't quite born here in Lake County, but in Europe, and we have a passion for a Mediterranean climate. So when we wanted to do a change in life, it was my first trip to California was back in '76. I had to spend a weekend in San Francisco because of other businesses. And I came up to Napa Valley to look at that, and I said to myself, this looks pretty good. Most of you can't remember what Napa Valley looked back then. It looked very much like Lake County. It was all farming, absolutely gorgeous. So I fell in love with that. So back in '99, I decided to follow up, and came out, looked at Redwood. I think it's right up your alley. No, I'll go and take a look at it. So we did. He told me it was in Lake County, and I had to ask, where is Lake County? But I found it. Saw the property, and after 3 hours of touring with the owner, we basically agreed on a deal, and we did a handshake. And we wanted to do a number of things. We wanted to do education for kids, put them in the right direction. We wanted not to do a traditional tasting room. There are plenty of those, about 4,000 in California. But we wanted to do something where people could have an experience, and more than just a glass of wine or 3 ounces of different wines, whatever they offer. Nothing wrong with that. I'm not downplaying it. So we wanted something where we could have families come and stay. We are about a couple of hours, 2.5 hours from the Bay Area. So building some kind of a resort went into the conservation easement back in 2001. And it materialized. We built Utopia, 97 units. Most of them can sleep a family of 5. Swimming pool, bistro, everything. And they get full access to all the trails, 20 miles of mountain bike trails 30 miles of hiking trails on the property. So we combined all that and really trying to sell a nature experience to people, not just a glass of wine. We're still building it. It takes time. I have managed over the years to find some great partners, and you will hear from Kia and Annie here about how we built that. Emmanuel is not here. I got an email from her last night saying, see you tomorrow. Well, it is tomorrow and she's not here. I don't know why. Maybe you know why. But she sent me her talking points, but that's not a big deal. We can cover that between us. But as an introduction, I think I have used my time.
Yes, that's fantastic. Thank you. And then I had the opportunity to help introduce Annie and Kai. I was working as a mentor in Jack's Lavender Farm, and the farm, or the place they were using before, had some water issues, and they were looking for a new home. So Annie was like, hey, do you think by chance Six Sigma would be a good fit? And I was like, absolutely, happy to make this connection. So Annie, tell us a little bit about the goal of the farm, the skills the youth learn, and the products.
Okay. Thank you for having me here, and thank you for that great introduction. If you guys look in your bags, you might find a lavender sachet. That was handmade by our teens. They grew the lavender, they planted the lavender, they grew the lavender, harvested it, dried it, and stripped it to make those beautiful lavender sachets for you. So that's a perfect example of some of the products that we make at the farm. Our goal is to cultivate opportunity for Lake County teens. I was born and raised here, grew up in Clear Lake Oaks, and became familiar of some of the challenges of our county, of generational poverty, and the trauma that brings, and how it creates a system of oppression that creates barriers for youth who have incredible potential that they cannot unlock. And so it became my mission when I returned from being gone and traveling the world and working as a teacher and returning here to see what we could do to create a place where we could help teens and students develop career and life skills to develop a healthy and happy transition into adulthood. So at the farm, we operate, we're a nonprofit organization, completely volunteer run, and thanks to Kai and Six Sigma, we are able to run our 15-acre farm 3 days a week after school and on the weekends. Students come out. We provide transportation, which is what we think is the #1 barrier to access for youth in our area. So we bought a passenger van, and we pick up kids from school and then drop them off at their home every day, pick them up at their home for events and back. The skills that we focus on hard skills and soft skills, because we believe that that's incredibly important to be able to work as a team and to cooperate and communicate, and mainly focus on empowerment, belonging, confidence. And then the hard skills come into farming, come into marketing, accounting, and all of the things that come along with the farming experience. Our goal is to get to a point where we can be working with more teens in the county, and also to be open every Saturday for agritourism specifically, allowing families to come out. We do have events at the farm, and we're looking forward to having a lot more where we can bring more and more people out to the farm to have that educational experience, that family experience that Kai and his team at Six Sigma have created so beautifully.
Definitely. How do you think this has shifted the youth's perspective of their career future, like their maybe hospitality or agritourism careers that they might be able to get after this internship?
So essentially every teen who has participated in our program, it's been their very first experience out on a farm. It's been their very first experience having the opportunity to have to work with a customer in front of them at a booth. It's been their first experience of having to go through the hardships that come along with learning how to do something. So allowing them to have those experiences gives them the skills to be able to be confident to step into an entry-level job, with our partnership with Hootopia, we started 2 years ago. Our program graduates go straight into their first paying job with Hootopia. So we've seen that they are having success there. They enjoy it. A lot of our other students, teens who are participating, they now talk about wanting to go into the hospitality industry. They talk about wanting to go into ag because they've discovered that, hey, there's so many things that we can do within these industries, and they feel confident doing it.
Awesome. Kai, did you have something you wanted to add?
No, Annie just said it.
Okay. Perfect. And continuing on the theme of youth and what we are doing for youth at the ranch, Kia, tell us your history of mountain biking and Six Sigma Ranch.
Hi, everyone. I announce for the NorCal League, and I'm always told I don't need to talk so loud on the mic, so I'm sorry if I'm very loud. But as mentioned, I graduated from Kelseyville High School. So for those that aren't familiar with the area, it's just down the road. And actually that ranch where we'll be having the dinner later, all of their proceeds from their pumpkin patch and everything that you'll see goes to the Kelseyville FFA program. So it's close to home for me. I raced in the league. We raced at Bog State Demonstration Forest at the time, and we had the devastating fire that burned through there my junior year. And at the time, Kelseyville and Clear Lake teams, and then Middletown had a team. We were like, oh, I'm not sure what we're going to do. And lucky for us, Six Sigma was very generous in that they gave us a place to ride. I mean, that was our access to the mountains. That was our home course and where we practiced. So that my junior year was 200 community service hours out at Six Sigma, working on improving game trails to make an area where we can ride. And now the ranch has their own trail staff, and Middletown High School still does an amazing job doing tons of work out there. But it's a race venue that, as mentioned, brings just our races alone. We have 2,000 student athletes and 1,500 coaches that come into the area. And then we do state championships at Sigma too, because it's the only venue that's big enough to hold all of those cars for one weekend. And so 6,000 people is probably just the state championships weekend alone out at Six Sigma. And there's a picture that's kind of coming through in the slides, but you can see that our organization, we service all of the high schools from San Luis Obispo up to the border north. So we are huge, yeah. And we all gather at Six Sigma. You can see we filled the entire valley as you're driving in with student athletes, and some of them their first time getting to camp or see cows or understand that lavender starts from a seed.
It's about 1.5 miles of tents.
Yeah.
It's like a bike burning man.
Yeah, it is. But with kids.
Definitely. How do you think the races are different at Six Sigma versus the other venues?
Yeah, like I said, Six Sigma is the only venue that's large enough at this time to fit our entire league in one weekend. And that atmosphere is incredible. It's not often, even other venues we have where there's camping, there's not enough camping for every team to be able to camp. And so Six Sigma is like magic because none of the kids are on their phones because they don't have enough service to be on their phones. And they're all camping, and it's incredible because you'll see these teams, like I said, all the way from San Luis Obispo and all the way north coming together, and there's no separation based on what team they came with. Next thing we know, there's 400 lights and student athletes with bikes up on the hillside riding at night and playing in the field and going to see the cows or the livestock. There's a horse there right in the ranch, and some of them, it's like their first time getting to see a horse. And that is our only venue that offers that experience. Like I said, we have other places where they can camp, but it's nothing like coming into the Valley of Six Sigma, 1.5 miles, like you said, of campsites where they all get to come together. And some kids, yes, there we are. And that's probably a light weekend. That's not state champions.
It's not full yet.
Yeah, probably the start of the weekend. Yeah, it's incredible. I mean, like I said, it's a lot of these student athletes, their only experience to get out in nature this capacity.
That's awesome.
And get off their phones.
Yeah. I had someone ask me the other day, how do you run that? Like, we're a little tasting room. We have one bathroom in our tasting room. They're like, when you have thousands of people, what do you do? And I'm like, panic? No. It's through the years, we've dialed it in, and we definitely have a row of rental porta potties, and I staff up. Every single person that's on our staff works that weekend, and being a small tasting room, it has its challenges. There's only so many seats and so much space for all these parents wanting to drink a glass of wine, but we always manage to make it work, so it's a lot of fun. We enjoy our bike race weekends a ton. Do probably get a few extra gray hairs every time they call and say, oh, a venue just canceled on us. Can we come next weekend? Yeah. I'm like, oh, okay, a week. Yes, we're going to make it work. So it's always a great time. Our next question is sort of our first panel open question. What innovations or new experiences are you exploring to keep agritourism fresh and relevant? I know agritourism is a big kind of hot phrase right now. How are we embracing it?
Well, maybe I should take the first stab at that. I think it's a little confusing what ag tourism is. That's why we put some cows out in the meadow as greeters. I just got a brand new article, it's a month old, about ag tourism and how it works, and it's the biggest draw to wineries. So I read it carefully, and they mentioned examples of wineries that offer tasting, and then maybe a tour of the vineyards, and maybe a visit to the barrel room. And that's good, but it's a little on the low side. I think most wineries can do that. So we try to, yes, we offer wine tasting. Yes, you can get into our cave, and yes, you can do a barrel tasting. And you can get tours in the military truck. You probably saw it up there, from the tasting room up to the vineyards, or one of the vineyards, which is 2 miles away. We talk about agricultural practices. We talk about the land, and we try to include as much as possible. Annie is really pushing the lavender farm, and was it 2 years ago you planted a garden? And this year, I've never seen so many tomatoes in my life. We just couldn't eat them. But, you know, the critters can get through the fence, and they had a ball. So that was okay. We're working on how to make that work a little better. And I think in general, if I may say that, Caitlin, we have some wonderful partnerships. And maybe I should say a few words about Utopia. It came about when we put the conservation easement on the ranch back in 2001. We, of course, realized that we were 2.5 hours from the Bay Area, and it would be ideal if we could do something where families could come up and stay for a couple of nights. So we put in the conservation easement that one day we were going to build some kind of place for that. Of course, we got involved with planting vineyards. We got involved in 2005 building a winery, and it sort of faded a little bit. But then one day, a guy named Shane, he was back then the development officer for Utopia, which is a big French group. They have 135, maybe more now, glamping resorts around the world. They have done an amazing job. They run it as a big resort chain. You can't become a manager there unless you have been through their training center in the south of France. So there's a standard. The founder, Philippe, comes over on a regular basis, and him and his wife will stay in a tent for 2 nights. And I've seen the list the staff gets the following day. This needs minor adjustments. So it's an amazing organization to work with. It has been fun to build it. We opened back in 23. We had a soft opening, a couple of months. It was delayed, like construction, permits, everything. So we ended up being open for 3 months. We were open for 6 months in 24, and this year we will be close to 8 months. We closed just before Thanksgiving. I think it's an amazing project. But you know, one thing, you saw I came up here in a wheelchair and all that. Not that there's anything major wrong with me, but because of a broken leg and an infection, I had to spend some time in a hospital. And I talk to people, what do you do? You know, what the heck do you do when you're in a hospital? And you can't get out. I got a pass today. And a lot of these young kids said, oh, I have seen Utopia on television. I didn't realize that it was your guys. And I think one of the major action points going forward is to make sure that it's known out there. We've done television in the Bay Area, we've done other things, but try to tie it all together. Some people know about the mountain biking, some people have heard about Annie and her flowers, but I think we need to tie it all together. And in our last conversation, Annie and I discussed it, and I challenged her to do a proper business plan where she talk about the ag tourism around California, what people are doing, what the competition is, and that's the old GE guy talking, of course, and put that together, and I'll be more than happy to criticize it. So she can't just sit out there and dream about flowers all the time. And I am meeting with the top of Utopia within a month or so, just to talk about how they can do a better job on their marketing plan. They've hired top marketing people, like one of the biggest resort groups out of France, and she has worked in North America for 12 years for that group. She knows a lot of people, but she doesn't quite know Northern California, and we are working on that. And this is different. You don't find anything like what we are trying to put together at Six Sigma. And going forward, I think the model is the partnerships you're seeing here. I mean, if you want to be successful in what we do, there are some basic requirements. You need land, that's obvious. You need some capital behind it, but you certainly also need some people who can run it. We can help them to get going, get off the ground. But we need excellent people who can drive the project, like Annie, like Kia here, and Emmanuel, who is unfortunately not here. But she's a very dynamic lady. She started out in France. She worked on the East Coast when Utopia first opened up there, and is doing a tremendous job. So if you haven't been out there, come out and see us. We will be happy to show you around.
I think another thing with agrotourism too is that people are coming to us with all the questions. So questions I don't even know all the answers to, like, oh, what specific type of soil is in that front block of Sauvignon Blanc? And I'm like, Katie, our winemaker, like, help me out, like, what? So we're seeing a lot of people coming for the experience. So people don't want to just show up to Six Sigma Ranch for a wine tasting, throw some wine back and leave. They want to spend the day, they want to learn. And it's really amazing to see people wanting to learn. And I think that desire for knowledge is amazing that we're seeing. And so it's keeping us on our toes, and we have to make sure that we know all the answers so that we're ready for that.
If I may just add one thing, talking about the soils, and that's one of my passions, I apologize. But in every vineyard, within certain distances, we know exactly the profile of the soils 5 feet down. We have a photo of it, we have the chemical analysis of it, and we have adjusted all the rootstock to that. Because you can plant a vineyard, but if you put it in the wrong dirt, it's very difficult to roll up and move somewhere else, because those damn roots go down 20 feet. And when some environmentalists tell us that, oh, you plant vineyard, that's an erosion problem, it's the opposite. If you have 6 feet between the rows of vines, you have very good erosion control with roots going down 20 feet. So we have the answer somewhere in the filing cabinet.
Definitely. Annie, is there anything that surprised you about the agritourism or working in this sector?
Yeah, can you guys hear me? Is that on? Yeah? Okay, cool. So something that surprised me, I don't know if it surprised me or it just wasn't on the top of the list of priorities when we were developing the farm, is the importance of the educational piece for the visitors to the farm. So something that we've been discovering is that we aren't officially open to the public, but because we have the absolute fortune of being between Hootopia and Six Sigma, if we're out there on a Saturday or during a weekday, sometimes guests from either of the businesses will stop in or drive in and kind of be like, I feel like I'm lost, and they're like, hello, come on out. And so what we've been learning is, at least with our teens and the training aspect, is that they need to be very knowledgeable when someone shows up, because to have that true agritourism experience, people need to know that there's 400 different types of lavender, and that there's culinary lavender, and that there's lavender designed for oil, and we could go on and on about that. But the importance of really being knowledgeable and, like Caitlin touched on, bringing them into the experience. We've had families come down when our garden was out of control, beautiful, producing tons and tons of different vegetables, and then all that they wanted to do was just have their toddler come out and look and see that that's an actual zucchini, and you can harvest it on your own. So thinking about how to engage the customer in the experience of what you actually do, and not being afraid to that they aren't going to want to do that. I think that that's something that we've really learned. As far as the original question, something that we are really thinking about at the farm is that customers can come out, people can come out, and they can harvest their own lavender, and then we're going to have a small distiller, and then they can make their own essential oil within an hour and a half. And so you might be staying at Hootopia, you might go down to the farm, harvest your own lavender, make your own oil while you're having a glass of wine, and then come back. So really thinking about as well about those partnerships that Kai touched on as well, and the power of that.
Yeah, I don't have much to add except that I think something that stands out about Six Sigma is the access. The lavender farm having their own, vehicle to pick up people, and Six Sigma, something for us, like they have the little military truck that you see. They'll drive through our pit zone, and they'll drive people and give them a tour of the ranch and talk to them about what's going on. And for us, like having all that parking area for camping and all that, Six Sigma, I think, has done a really good job with giving access for people to experience that and understand, and just come see the vegetables and touch the vegetables. And when we're there, like, come down to the tasting room, we'll give you a ride, come check out the lavender farm. So just kudos to that. And I think something that stands out about that venue specifically is that they've done a really good job with. And now Hootopia, having a place for people to stay, you don't necessarily need to camp to be there. You can glamp at Hootopia. So I think that is just something that stands out about that property.
Thank you. And to wrap this up, I want us all to share a final either thought or lesson that we've learned along the way. And while y'all are thinking of your answers, I'll kind of go with whether it's agritourism, if you're listening to your customers, listening to your constituents. The biggest thing that I've learned from this is stepping from a counseling role into a hospitality manager role. It's actually very similar. It comes down to active listening. You need to listen to what your customers want, what the people want, and adapt. Don't do the same thing you've done for years, because it's not the same day today as it was yesterday. So we really need to make sure we're always listening, and that's actually a Six Sigma principle as well, the voice of the customer. It's so important. So in everything you're doing, make sure you're listening, and listen more than you speak. Whoever wants to go next.
Well, when I was in the corporate world, I had to present an annual strategy for the company where I was chairman and CEOs. I had to fly up to Fairfield and present it to the GE board. And I did that every year, of course. It always got approved. And I had to send it out or present it to the organization when I got back. So we had television worldwide. We had offices from China to Philadelphia. And, you know, I still remember one thing. There were always questions, there were curiosity, and was there support. And one time I decided to try to get a very strong message across. I came back, we had a big auditorium, we had the home office people there, and then we had 25 televisions so everybody could see it. And I walked up on stage, I carried a big axe, and I put it over my head like that. And then I said, it's all about the execution. We can have the best strategic plan in the world, but if you guys don't execute, it's not going to happen. It's all about people. It's all about getting the word out there. And on a closing note, and back to the comment I mentioned from the guy at the hospital, Utopia is on Six Sigma ground. It's only been there for 3 years. But help us get the word out there. It's a great concept. We want to take care of people, but we need to get the word out. We are pushing hard in many different directions, from television to advertising to brochures that we put out in I don't know, we belong to 3 chambers of commerce, St. Helena, who has been very good to us, Calistoga, and of course our own Lake County Chamber of Commerce. And they are very supportive of what we do. They invite us to their events. They publicize when we have paella night, when we have a ranch to table formal dinner, whatever we do, mountain bike racing. But it takes more time than I ever expected. And maybe it's all my mistake, to be blunt. Sometimes you have to be honest to correct your mistakes. But you know, coming from General Electric, which back in the days was the biggest company in the world, everybody knew it. Everybody in America had seen it was called the meatball, the logo on the fridge in the kitchen. So everybody knew it. And then I established a little company in Northern California, called it Six Sigma. And some people, MBAs basically from business schools, knew about it. But we had to build the brand from scratch. And we are still working on it. And that's where we need your help. Wherever you're sitting, in a county function or elsewhere, help us with that. And it has been an honor to be here. I really support the introduction about promoting the 5 northern counties in California. I think they have something very special. I used to travel all over the world. I had to drive to San Francisco and get on a plane, and I had to drive back. And the first couple of times, I drove up to Napa Valley. But then somebody said, why don't you use Botts Canyon, which is just a little bit east of Silverado Trail? And you know what? It's completely untouched. And you can hit it an hour north of SFO. So there you can find the old California, completely untouched. And I'm telling you what, I love it. I love Napa Valley because they bring a lot of customers that we can get up here. But it becomes a little bit too artificial. I mean, making wine, after all, or everything we do, is farming. It's not Disney World, it's not show, and we want to share that through ag education and through getting people on the property and talk about it so they can ask questions. And maybe Caitlin doesn't have the answer, maybe I don't have it, but I can guarantee you somebody on the staff will have the answer because we have done the research. Thank you all for coming.
All right, thank you. Okay, hold on, one more brief thing.
I am going to close.
We're borrowing into lunch, so we'll go fast.
Mine will be brief, but I just wanted to touch on the fact that our league touches every county represented in this room today. So if any of you have any, land or areas where you think maybe we could bring these bike races here, or, almost everybody in this room has a team probably locally to them. And so if anybody wants to pick my brain after this, I'm around here, and also my boss, our program director, is here, and we can chat about venues and bikes and how to bring a magical experience to all of the counties here. So please come talk to me.
Aren't they great? Thank you.